Jen Brown. August 19th will never be a normal day for me. That will always be the day. The day my life turned upside down. The day my life's journey took an unexpected sharp curve. The day I was diagnosed with ovarian cancer. Before I tell you about my life after the day, let me tell you about my life before the day. I grew up with an idyllic childhood in Wellington, Florida. As a child of 2 teachers, education was important in my house. It was so important that I became a teacher. I've taught in Palm Beach County for 10 years, and I currently teach 10th grade English at Dwyer High School in Jupiter. In the fall of 2014, I had a pain in my right side. It felt like the side stitch you feel when you run. It wasn't a debilitating pain, but it was enough of an annoyance that I went to my doctor, a GP. After an ultrasound, he said I had a 2-centimeter cyst on my right ovary. No big deal. Then in March, I followed up with my OBGYN, who ordered a second ultrasound. The cyst was now 5 centimeters. Once again, the doctor said it was no big deal. However, my mother pushed me to go to a second OBGYN. We went to Cleveland Clinic in Weston in May. That doctor tried to manipulate my hormones through birth control pills so that the cyst would dissipate. By late June, I was in constant pain due to this cyst. My doctor finally recommended surgery. The doctors were so confident that it would be a routine surgery that I chose to have the surgery in Palm Beach County, closer to home than Cleveland Clinic in Weston. Surgery number 1 occurred on August 5th. I was able to start teaching again 6 days after surgery. I felt good and thought I was healed. Then came August 19th, the day. I went to my surgeon for my follow-up. The first thing he said was, "I'm so glad to see you because we have some interesting pathology." At the age of 31, with no family history, I was diagnosed with ovarian cancer. What was thought to be a cyst was a borderline mucinous tumor with carcinoma of the intestinal type. It took a while for the news to sink in. I left my doctor's office and called my parents. At that time, I didn't understand my diagnosis, but I cried as I told them. Immediately, my parents and I began doing research. We're all educators. We couldn't learn enough about ovarian cancer. We found out that this type of ovarian cancer is rare, and we decided to seek treatment at MD Anderson Cancer Center in Houston, Texas. They recommended a second surgery to remove my right ovary, appendix, fallopian tube, and omentum, a fat pad in the pelvis that cancer cells love. On October 6th, I had surgery number 2 at MD Anderson. After my surgery, the doctors came to the waiting room to tell my mother that the cancer was gone. Finally, some good news. However, that news was short-lived. On October 20th, I got the call every cancer patient dreads. The cancer was more invasive than originally thought. During my surgery, the doctors did a pelvic wash. When they looked at these cells found in that wash, it was found I had floating cancer cells in my pelvis. At some point, my tumor had ruptured and released cancer cells. I was officially stage 1C and I would need chemotherapy. Because the cancer cells are an intestinal type of mucinous cell, my doctors recommended that I be treated with the same drugs that are used to treat colon cancer patients. But wait, wasn't this ovarian cancer? Wouldn't I need ovarian cancer chemo drugs? What if my chemo doesn't work? I expressed my fears to my doctor at MD Anderson. She leaned forward, touched my hand, looked me straight in the eyes and said, "Jennifer, I need to be crystal clear. The chemo will work." I have replayed her words in my head a million times. I had a third surgery to place support in my chest and have had so many x-ray scans, tests, and appointments that I've lost count. But now, I'm here. I finished with my 6th and last round of chemotherapy last week. I went back to MD, I head back to MD Anderson on February 1st. I head back to MD Anderson on February 1st, next week, for more scans and tests to confirm that my cancer's gone. I'll go back every 3 months for the first year, every 6 months for the next 4 years, and every year after that. Throughout the whole process and my diagnosis, I remained calm and uplifted. I've always had a strong faith, and I knew that God would heal and provide for me. And God gave me Hal, who paid for my bills. And because of you, you allowed me to pay my medical bills. And most importantly, you allowed me to travel to MD Anderson because I couldn't have afforded their care on my own. I know that the doctors at MD Anderson saved my life, so in an indirect way, I'm living today because of what you've done. How can I ever say thank you? I'll never be able to repay what you've done for me, but I will be able to spread your message. As an educator to my core, I have been and will continue to spread the word about ovarian cancer, to teach others about the whispering symptoms, and to tell them about how this charity is so wonderful to help women like me. Thank you.
Deep breath. Thank you for sharing this inspirational story. We're so happy you're doing well.